Make sure everybody's muted.
No pressure, Sonya. But anyway, you guys, tonight, Sonya Dudley is with us. She's a diamond with Plexus, and she's been with the company for quite some time, and she's an awesome leader and a really just a very loving and kind person and has a lot of wisdom to give. So we really appreciate her joining us tonight, and I think she's got a lot of good things that all of us probably could use and hear and take with us and move forward with. So I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let Sonya do her thing. And thanks everybody who got on tonight. We really appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you so much. I just, Natalie, just love you and your team, and Lacey, this whole team. And I just thank you for just letting me be a little part of pouring into people. I love to just give people some maybe different perspective. So I'll kind of share my story with you guys so that you kind of know what I mean by that. But I've been in Plexus. My name is Sonya Dudley. I've been in Plexus for over 7 years, which it seems like it's been 2 years. So time just flies, really flies. But my background is I've always lived in a really small town. So when I started Plexus, I'm in the town that, I was born and raised at. Everybody knows everybody, is a business, good or bad, all that kind of stuff. I still call the beauty salon the beauty shop. My best friend Helen makes fun of me saying that, but I really am just a small town country girl. I always had big dreams. Like I always was the person in the small town who, thought, inside I wanted to do big things. I wanted to be big things. I wanted to just make a difference, but I really didn't know what that would look like, but I knew it was in me. And so I want to say to you that if you've had that in you for a while, like you're just a person who wants to make an impact, don't ignore that. Because the only way you will get that is to pursue the fear, to walk through the fear, to embrace a challenge. Because, what I found through 30 years this year of network marketing, that's been my whole life, is you can survive things. People usually will, to survive hard times, they will do what they have to do, but sometimes most people won't make it a part of their legacy. And so it's a choice. It's, things happen to all of us. And you can either choose to just survive or you can choose to thrive. And that's a choice. And it's a decision to use your pain to influence and help and encourage and make a huge wrinkle in the future of many thousands of people. And so you definitely can be that person. But my background is I was 19 years old. I was in college, and I started network marketing because I needed something that was flexible, but that I could put myself through college doing. So I started network marketing, and I went to my first convention about a year and a half in, and that was the last convention I ever missed. I was with that company 17 years. Then I was with a couple other companies for a short time. There was always a year or so in between each company. Like I didn't leave this company to go to this company. Like I was burnt out and thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I was in debt up to my eyeballs with the first company I was with for 17 years. Went to that convention, came home, quit college, went full-time network marketing my senior year in college. But I came home, and I want to explain the difference. And I'm just intertwining some training in all of this. I don't really use notes that much, so it's just kind of from the heart. But there are many people who go to things, and they come home and they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all the way. And they're just externally motivated. They're in that moment of passion, if you will. And then they come home and life happens and life hits, and back to the laundry and back to the, the this happened to my child, and this is what, the dishwasher broke, and this, and life just happens, and you just kind of get caught up in that. But when you make a decision and you are committed versus just interested, but you're so committed, nothing derails you. Nothing throws you off track. I think about Lacey, I think about you, and you've been in my thoughts and prayers just constantly. And I think about, you could have easily said, and no one would have said anything about it, I'm not going to Leaders Retreat. I mean, I was shocked to really see you there, to be honest. And I was like, and this was my thinking about it, okay, was she has a bigger purpose and why than herself. And you have so much you have to do. When you are in that, I have to do this. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing. Because my why now is bigger than it's ever been. You will not use anything as an excuse. You will be an overcomer beyond all overcomers. And you, my dear, are the person that will make your story. This is your story that you will stand on stage and share as a new emerald. I mean, I will get that done. I will have you as the speaker. You hit it, I promise you, I will get it done. And you will tell your story, and you will make a difference generations to come with your impact of how to be that overcomer, how to be that person who doesn't use what easily could be an excuse, and no one would even judge you for it. I mean, but you're turning all of that into your reasons to go forward. And I am so inspired by you. Of course, I'm proud of you, but that's not even the right word. People like you inspire people like me. You inspire people that you don't even know you're inspiring. And that's legacy leadership right there. And I adore you. I love you. I admire you. I'm inspired by you. I just wished I could see you and hug you. But that's the type of leaders we all want to be. And that's the type of leaders we all want to find and put on our team. Every one of us are going, and I've been through lots. My story, when I started Plexus, when I gave up my 17-year career with that first company, I had a company car. I had earned 10 cars with that company. I was making at that time probably $60,000 maybe with the company. I was in debt up to my eyeballs with that company. I had to do parties to even keep my head above water, and it was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back every single month. I'd have a great month, and the next 4 months would be horrible. I never could really get over the hump. When I gave that up, I did not want to give up my dream, but I got really, really stressed out and really, really sick. And I got an autoimmune that put me in a lot of pain. My body was just inundated with pain. It was kind of like I thought I had the flu, but with no fever. That's how I felt every day. I ached all over. It hurt some days to touch my skin. I was depressed, obviously. I could not sleep. I had severe anxiety attacks, the kind that definitely sent me to the hospital more than once because I thought I was having a heart attack, and I would almost have a seizure-like behavior. I could not go to the bathroom. My entire life, I could not go to the bathroom. I was always taking something to go, taking off work when I did work out of the house, and, stayed home and just drank stuff to try to go to the bathroom and clean me out. I mean, I was miserable and unhealthy inside. I craved sugar. My cholesterol was always over 300. A good month, a good year, it would be around 250. So I was a mess. And when I gave up that career of 17 years, for about 2 years, I tried to just get better. I didn't work. We drained our savings. We started having to borrow money from my mom just to get by. Here we are. Now, this is my early 40s. And I was like, late 30s, early 40s. And I was like, I don't care how sick I am. I got to go make some money. And in that window there was about 5 to 7 years between leaving that 17-year career and starting Plexus. There was about 5 to 7 years. In that window, besides trying to get better, I bought 2 traditional businesses, went into a 6-figure debt. Yay. Tried 2 other network marketing companies. Went to work for other people. I did everything. I got my insurance license. I was a assistant spa director at a spa. I ran my 2 businesses, but they weren't making enough money that we could live on the income. So I was hiring people to work. That doesn't work. So my last straw is I was hired at Verizon Wireless. Michelle Thomas hired me there. And she saw me at my worst. She saw me at my worst. Very dark times. And I left there, and we become really close friends. And I left there and went to work down the street at another place. And what I can tell you is through all of those trials of trying this job, trying that job, I was still longing for a dream. Like, I had a dream. I was longing for, like, how can I make this happen? And so, I never lost sight that I had a dream. So don't ever lose sight of the dream. You can always change the timing on it. You can push the date out. You can pause it, but don't lose it, because God already knows. He's already got the puzzle put together, okay? I got to sneeze. So I'm going to mute myself because my sneezes are lovely. All right. It's usually 3. It's 1. Okay. So God already has the plan worked out. And so if you don't lose sight of it, and you trust that what you are going through is going to be used for His glory and for your story, okay? So when I was suffering and I was at the lowest I'd ever been, where I thought, I cannot live in this kind of pain, God already knew that there was an answer. And Les Brown says this, and I've always clung to this quote, and he may not have been the first one to say it, but it's you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You cannot see the whole picture and what your life is supposed to look like when you're in the frame. When you're going through the valley, you can't see the mountain, but God already has the mountain there for you. You just got to trust, and it's okay to be in the valley. It's okay to be in the valley. You have to go through it, but you got to know there's a mountain out there. So when I started Plexus, I remember saying to Helen, I said, that I said I would never do network marketing again. Never. I've done 3. No. And she said, I know, but there's no inventory, no parties. I believe these products can change your life. And Sonya, I've never seen a comp plan quite like this. So I took a look at that and I said, okay, you're right. If these products work, we're going to go to the top fast. I remember saying that just like that. So the business was definitely in mind. And I can tell you guys who maybe you haven't been in network marketing other than Plexus. Maybe you've just dabbled in something else and maybe Plexus is your second. Well, I've been in 4 at least if you count Plexus. And I've studied a lot of comp plans. There's just nothing that's so generous in the very beginning and fair for everyone. A brand new person who joins, can earn $400, $500, $600, $800, $1,000 their first month. That's really unheard of. It's really unheard of. So I thought this is good. So I joined the company. The products drastically changed my life the first week. But even after a month, 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, I started noticing all the other, non-skill victories. I mean, no more anxiety attacks since Plexus at all. None. Of course, weight loss, clarity of mind, better sleep, no more pain, cholesterol regulated, came off all those meds. I was on, I don't even know how many, a lot. And it was, they weren't fixing the root issue. They were just band-aiding, the symptoms. So my whole life changed. So then I just started boldly telling people. And I made a video the other day. It's in a yellow shirt. It's the same day I did the comp plan video. It's only like 5 minutes, but it's called Bold Beginnings. And I talk about what I said and how bold to be, and, just the thinking of when you're new, of how you have to be. You have to be bold and brave. It's not about you. It's about other people. It's about, can my story help someone like it helped me? And it can't be about what if they say no. They will say no. People ignore my messages. People say no to me all the time. People quit. It's not personal, you guys. It's people. When you're in the people business, it's never personal. It's people. It's what we do. I say no all the time to something before I even know about it, because my thought is, so that's what you have to do. Is you have to think, why am I saying no to this? Well, because for me, it's, I don't want this person to try to push me. I don't want to say yes, because then they're going to think I want to run with this. I say no to stuff that I don't know enough about. So it's never personal, okay? Never personal. And so 10 weeks after getting into Plexus, after joining the company, products working, I didn't crave sugar anymore. So therefore I, felt better. I was drinking more water. I didn't want Cokes, started exercising. My whole life changed. Then 10 weeks in, I quit my full-time job. And at the time I was selling mobile homes. I think that year my W-2 was around $49,000. So I was making good money. But I wanted to be home again. I had worked for me for a long time, and to go back into the workforce for the first time with no college degree, I was commuting. I wanted to be home. I was missing out. I liked being my own boss. I didn't like a boss. So that was, for me, that was my drive, is I wanted that time freedom. So 10 weeks in, I quit my job and I went full-time. And that was at the end of November of 2012 that I went full-time. It was November 26th. It was a Monday, and I quit my job. And then in March, hit Emerald, and then in July, hit Diamond. And so I say that to say, was it a fast journey? In my eyes, it was not, because it was 20 years of trying to get to the top. It was 20 years. It was 20 years of learning how to get thick skin. From when people said no, I didn't quit. I got used to it. I got thick skin. You develop tenacity from years of being discouraged, and then figuring out how to keep yourself at a balance. You will always get discouraged. I get discouraged. Still today, I get discouraged. But I also know my worst day in Plexus is still better than my best day that I ever did anything else. It's perspective. It's perspective. I've learned to, if I can't control it, then I release it. You know what I can control? I can control my activity level. I can control my efforts, and I can allow God to control the results. So all I need to worry about is my effort. And there's weeks when, like last week was one of the weeks, the first 3 full days of last week, I was not home. When I say I wasn't home, I have to drive everywhere. I have to drive to every appointment. I have to drive to get groceries. I have to drive to do everything. And when I say drive, 80 miles. 80 miles to do everything, one way. 45 miles is an easy trip. That's a breeze. That's that one I love to do. But last week was the long haul. Okay. I was not home to work. I couldn't work driving unless I was calling people. It was an odd week. But I remembered going, I need to be working. But I remember also saying to myself, okay, Sonya, wait a minute. You can't beat yourself up for not putting in the effort. You had to do these things. You can't expect results if you're not willing to put the effort in. And so perspective, look at your activity before you're too hard on yourself. And some of you say, I want to be a Ruby ambassador, but you're doing no work at all, but you're expecting results. It's because you're thinking about Plexus 24/7, but you're not doing the activity. And so you're expecting more of yourself when you shouldn't be. So make sure your activity is matching the expectations of what it's going to take to reach the outcome. Mindset has been probably the number one thing I can tell you that I have seen has been the missing link for people to get from here to here. I know people who are doing all the right things. They're doing the activity. They're doing the activity, but they're not believing it for themselves. They start to get there, and then for some reason they backtrack and they self-sabotage themselves. For some reason, it usually has to do with what they believe, but from their past. Did your mom tell you you were not good with people? Did your dad tell you, your whole life you would never amount to anything? All those things create what you believe to be true. And if it's not serving you well, it doesn't have to stay in your truth box. You need to release it if it's not serving you well. And you need to create new beliefs about what you want. And it's a constant battle. It will always be a constant battle. It's most people 100%. I mean, you say you want it, but do you really believe you can do it? It's easy to say, I want it, but you have to see yourself. You have to close your eyes, see yourself picking up your Lexus, at the dealership, seeing yourself in Hawaii. You have to see yourself. You can't just talk about it. So mindset, belief, it's really the missing key. You have to be reading all the books about it. Here's a really neat book I'm reading right now. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It was $12. It's called The Bottom of the Pool. And it's by Andy, what is his name? Andy Andrews. Crazy thing is, I didn't know this, but his parents lived next door to one of my ambassadors, and she went to school with him. She's like, oh my gosh, he's great. I'm like, what a small world. But it's thinking beyond your boundaries to achieve extraordinary results. That's just a great book. If you've already read books like What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and there's so many. Oh my gosh, I've got a whole library full of mindset books. But you have to be pouring into yourself. The news, the TV. Oh yes, Natalie. Yes, the best book ever. The TV will not pour into you. The news, I try to limit myself. I don't want to stay out of touch, but I try to limit myself to all that, listening to all that, because it doesn't feed my soul and feed my mind. I want to open up for questions. I don't know how long this goes, but I figure probably need to wrap it up. But I want to open this up to questions because I want to help you and answer things that you have questions about. I can look at the chat. Okay.
We have about 5 minutes, or some people hang on for another couple minutes, so we're fine.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I know y'all see my cute white dog right there. It's cute, ain't he?
We're just watching the dog. Is all we're doing. No. What were you talking about? No, I'm just joking.
I want to say one more thing too. Is working you never know what life's going to bring you, and you need to work when you can, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. mean, that's something I'm telling myself too. Like, I mean, need to look at work in a different light of it is a privilege to work hard. It is a privilege to work hard, to have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, eyes, 2 ears. Like, it's a privilege to work. Our society is definitely needs a lot of help with that mindset, I believe.
Well, I've got a question, Sonya. So, we talked a lot about working through your struggles, and you're always going to have hard times. And I feel like, almost every time I talk to people, a lot of people in my downline, they're going through something, or something's hard, or they, we're all going through stuff. What specific advice would you give to those people? Because, like, everybody's going to deal with stress and, hard things in their own way and in their own time. But if they really, want to do well in this particular industry, what specific advice can you give to them to help them?
Just first of all, don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether you need therapy, whether you need a coach, whether you just need someone neutral to bounce things off of, who's non-judgmental, who doesn't know you. Don't be afraid to reach out, because you need somebody who can guide you and who can help get you on the right path. I also think sometimes we just get lost in everything, and we just have to kind of wipe the slate clean and go, okay, why do I want this? Why do I need this? What is my reason? What's my why? And we got to get recentered a little bit. And then we have to make a plan. We have to have a plan for the week. We just have to. We go, this week, I want to accomplish reaching out to so many people. These people here who have been scared to talk to, I want to at least reach out to 3 of those. I want to follow up. We have to have a plan and a goal, or we're just kind of floundering. We're just kind of like, oh, this is happening. Okay. Oh, wait, this is happening. And we're reacting instead of being proactive. We're a reactor, not a proactor. I guess, I don't even know if that's a word, but so I would say those couple of things. And then, you've got to be developing your belief somehow every day, whether that's through a book, whether it's through a series of YouTubes of something every day you listen to something on belief, whether it's, plugging in every day to the company does so many amazing things now on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. There's something every day, every night you can plug into. It's just, when you unplug, here's a light, when you unplug, well, that was dumb, right?
There you go.
When you unplug from the source, that's when things start filtering in. That's when you become reactive instead of proactive. So you have to stay plugged in. So building your belief every day somehow. And you know what? I find that sometimes it only takes me watching a 5-minute YouTube, Les Brown, John Maxwell, Brene Brown, somebody who just like lights a fire under me. In 5 minutes, I'm like, that's it. You're right. Oh yeah. And it's crazy, right?
So true, because it was back in January, I kind of went through just a little funk. I mean, I still was in.
We both did.
And I was still, it was almost just like I lost excitement. And I don't know if it was like seasonal depression. I'm not quite sure what it was.
Yeah.
But I know that I got together with Gail on my team, and I was like, I think, and she was saying that she was going to start reading a book, and I'm like, I need you to. And I'm not kidding. Like the first chapter, I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. And so
that's crazy. Just that decision to just read a book, and then you read the first chapter with someone, and it's like, it recenters you. Yeah. It brings you back from fuzziness.
Just I feel like when I'm going through something, and I know, like, if I'm having a hard time with like self-confidence, or maybe I'm not wanting to get on and do a live for my team, I'll go and watch something about that, like confidence. I mean, like something that relates to it, and it just helps me.
Such good advice. Such good advice.
Like Sonya said, it doesn't have to be a whole book. I mean, I personally, like when I'm in the shower or something, I like to listen to a book. Like right now I'm listening to one, but it can be a 5-minute motivational video on YouTube. There's tons of them. If you just type in motivational videos, there's so many. Nicole sends them to me all the time. They're great. So
they are. They just help to recenter you. You know, if you keep doing what you're doing right now, you're going to keep having what you're having. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But, you know, life is fast. I mean, I can't believe I'll be 50 in just a few days. It's hard. And I'm going to tell you, it's hard because you realize, oh my goodness, like I was 30 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to, that's my daughter just saying she made it back to college. That's another thing. She was a baby and now she's in college. If you don't, sometimes we think about what we need to be doing. We think so much, we regret, we sit around beating ourselves up, and before we know it, another year has passed. Instead of just thinking about it, just saying, okay, I'm going to take this year to change my entire future and generations to come. And say that as a good affirmation. That's a great affirmation, by the way. You know, today I'm going to change my future and generations to come. Like, that's a good way to think. Big vision, long-term vision. So many people jump from thing to thing, company to company, and sometimes that's okay for some people. If they do it the right way. Most people don't, unfortunately, but if they do, good for them. If they don't, it typically, and then they start trying to recruit the people from their old company. It's like, that tells me that there was a lot in there that they weren't willing to face and break through, and so they just moved to another company because it's more new and exciting. But they're gonna lean on. I mean, if they hadn't sponsored anybody in 2 years and they haven't worked in 2 years and they're not doing anything and they're negative, why do they think another company can change them? It won't. It gives them something new and pretty to talk about with the same people. Mm-hmm. And so it's growing and changing is not something people want to do, but it's something we must do in order to grow, develop, be the best, and bring people with us. We have to. So we have to dig in, not outward. We have to dig our heels in our own grass, not go to other grass, you know, and most people just aren't willing to do that. So when you feel yourself feeling that, I'm not excited anymore, don't look outward. Say, what can I do to recenter myself here? Your company hasn't changed. You're going through something and you got to recenter yourself. So that's my belief on that.
And I'm reading a Mel Robbins book right now, How to Take Control of Your Life. And she talks a lot about the reason why a lot of people do those sorts of things, or people self-sabotage, or people pull back when they're overwhelmed or when things aren't going right, is because they have their mindset on this big goal. So it's good to see the whole picture, but taking baby steps to get there, like you were explaining earlier. Like, instead of saying, I want to be a Ruby, okay, well, that's good, and keep that, except you got to get to gold first, or you have to get to senior gold first, and then one foot in front of the other, and you keep going. And because people get all overwhelmed by this big goal they have, don't do that. Just one step at a time, and she calls it Lego bricks at a time. And eventually you're going to find yourself where you want to be if you keep doing that. But you stop building, you get no closer to your goal. And a lot of times some kid's going to come and whack their hand and break down everything you built, and you're going to start over again. So
I will say that it's still in my mind every day, get 3 people, go get 3 more. That's it. I don't think about anything else. I've got 3, gonna go get 3 more, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
and help them get 3. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've always loved the quote, your success is hidden in your daily routine. That is a quote that I clung to about 20 years ago. And it helped me and helps me today still not get overwhelmed too much. When I start getting overwhelmed, I go, okay, wait a minute. My success is hidden in my daily routine. Because you can get overwhelmed with, I want to be this and I'm not there. And oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get there? Stop the madness. What can I do today? It will build, it's the building blocks. I love her. And I think I downloaded that book not long ago. And I'm all over the place with books. I have one on Audible and one in paper.
That's the one I'm sticking to for right now. And it's really interesting because she goes through coaching calls with people, like people that are going through similar situations, and she talks them through it. And it's like, oh, duh. Yeah, it's totally. Yeah.
That's good.
Gail Messman has a question, and I don't want to leave her out. She said, Sonya, do you lead with the business or the products?
Yep. Good question, Gail. Typically the business, but I say that because my thought is our products work for the masses. They work for the masses. So I like to say things like, if I'm talking to somebody, you would be so good at doing what I do. Would you love an extra source of income? Because you would be fantastic at what I do. What do you do? Well, I'm in a health and happiness company. I just help people basically get healthy and happy. And you're so good with people. I can't help but think how good you'd be. And then, so that's kind of leading with the business. They're going to say, what do you sell? And then they're interested in the product. So it's both. So that if you led with the products, which I've done, it's hard to turn it into the business. Whereas if you lead with a business and they say, oh, I'd never want to sell it. Well, okay, how about a wholesale membership? You can just get your products paid for. I'm sure 3 or 4 people that suffer with this, so then you can go there. It's always easier to start here, offer people the moon, and then you can take them down to the stars, than to start small and try to go big. So that's my belief about business and then going down to the products. Great question. Yeah. All right. Are we good? Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'll look and see if there's anyone that we're leaving out. Okay, Michelle Statham says, I love that. Okay. Thank you so much, Sonya. We seriously appreciate you taking the time. We know that you were busy and you've been gone and everything. And so we are just thrilled that you.
It's all good. Thank you. I'm so glad some of you got to go to Leaders Retreat too. And that just, I'm so jealous. I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss going, but
it's so hard to watch. You're like, I want to go.
No, they were having so much fun. I was like, oh, and then like the Halloween party, I was like, oh, that was like my favorite part.
But unbelievable.
That's my least favorite part, but I wanted to be there when I saw it.
No, I know it had to be fun, but I've never been into much on dressing up, but I get into it once I'm there. It's just another day. Plexus does a party though like no other. I love all the fun and dancing and people, and it's fun. But thank y'all. And just what, we've got a great promotion right now through the end of October that is going to set up the next few months. I believe that the Plexus Perks program is a game changer. So be sure you're taking part in that. Because that's a game changer for our people. Like, it's a reason to get people to turn their subscription on. Why wouldn't you want to say to someone, now, let's be sure when you join that you keep your subscription on, because here's why. In 2 or 3 months, you're going to have enough points. If you leave that thing on, you're going to have enough points that you're going to be able to get some free products. You're going to want that thing on. Like, that's the way I'm going to talk to people. I'm so excited about it. How easy is that to say? So it's going to change everything.
They have a lot of good things that they have, like $20 off when you do the 3-day trial thing. Like, it just comes with a $20 off your first purchase thing. And
yes. So many tools to help us that we didn't have any of this when the first 3 or 4 years, nothing. It was crazy.
Well, you had it way harder than we had it. And I always tell our people, like, you should be like, I know you get overwhelmed with all the resources and stuff we have now, but we had like nothing. So, and then I think about you guys had it way worse.
Yeah. We had nothing in 2012, nothing. So anyway, it's good stuff though. Good stuff. You're equipped is my point. You're equipped. The company has equipped you. And God does not call the equipped, he equips the called. So if you feel called to do something in your life, you have the right company. You just need to trust, and go do what you have to do. All right.
And Lacey, we love you. And we've all
Love
been
you
thinking
big.
about you.
Yeah, we love you, girl.
Praying for you, darling, daily.
She's
Well,
a
thank
strong
you guys
lady.
for getting on tonight. Thank you, Sonya.
Yep. Bye. Good night.
Bye now.